Hey guys, welcome to Freshman Sports, and today we're going to be doing our third 2019 NBA mock draft. This mock draft is very similar to the last one, but I think this has more efforts and more. The draft order is pretty much more different, so make sure you're aware of that. Also, make sure you're aware that this was done really late, and there's a lot of screw ups. Like in terms of like the editing and stuff, because my software wasn't working that well. But you'll see the picks. Just be aware that it's not the best type of editing. So with the first pick, we got them. The Knicks obviously getting Zion Williamson, the best player in this draft class so far. He's got the talent. He's a one-in-a-lifetime talent. I couldn't see them going anywhere else, honestly, unless he has like another major injury. But Zion Williamson is the pick that you go for, right? In this pick, he's gonna lead your team. Even so, if you get him, there is no problem with. So there wouldn't be no problems with any other teams like Kevin Durant. You're not getting him, or Kyrie Irving. If you don't get him free agency, you'll still have him. Cavaliers, RJ Barrett, this is the smartest move. Instead of Jay Morant, when you already have Colin Sexton, an all-star, RJ Barrett is honestly one of the best, the second best in my opinion. He's a facilitator. He's going to really help that offense get back to what it was, and also that defense. He had the length, he had the leadership, he has everything, the all-around player, and I really like, he's not scared to take those big shots, and it doesn't matter if he's missed or not, he's still confident in the shot. He will have a bad game and then come back and have a good game. He's not a type of player who just has a bad season. That's not the type of player he is. Ja Morant to the Suns. Suns already have their Devin Booker, maybe a facilitator, and Ja Morant. You can't just, you want to, Ja Morant and DeAndre Ayton are two exciting players, especially Devin Booker. He's a very exciting player who can drop 60 points. But he's a really exciting player that your team is going to always want to get. And you want to get exciting players on your team. And sometimes that can really excite teams like the Clippers, the Lob City Clippers, who I didn't think their success happened mostly from their excitement. And also you can see the 76ers now who are having success with their excitement. Jaxson, Haynes, he center from Texas. He can play the power forward position. What I really like about him, I can see him playing ball. He's 6'11". He's good at the post move rebounding. He's athletic, and he's good on defense also. So he's a really all around player, and I like Jaxson Haynes right here. I like Bol Bol over him, but Jaxson Haynes is more likely going to be picked over him because he had that experience at a good college at Texas, who had Miles Turner, we've seen, had great success in the NBA. So we're going to have to see if he has another successor story. Cam Reddish is probably he's a great player too. He reminds me a lot of Klay Thompson, not because he can shoot like him, but because of his length. He creates a lot of mismatches, if you ask me. Cam Reddish, Klay Thompson, if he played small forward, it would probably not have the same impact as he playing shooting guard. He's very lengthy. Playing shooting guard at 6'6", 6'7", he's a great player to have on your team. He might be a corner, especially, even though I don't like him being that. He might have to with Trae Young being an actual really underrated passer in our league. So Bol Bol, my favorite center. His dad, Manute Bol 7'7", he went to the Wizards. So I think the Wizards go back to getting another Bol player. Bol Bol, who I think was way better. Who was actually way better. Bol Bol, actually, he can score. He can rebound, especially his blocks. His blocks are very, very aggressive and very, very active while he's doing that. Not many centers in our league can do both. So he's a great player to have. He has improved in his shooting. 7th, Grant Williams. He's a bit short for his power forward, as he's 6'7", but he reminds me too much of Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis most likely leaving Grant Williams is just the key to there. He can score. He can come in clutch. His post moves come in handy. He can play, and he can guard any position on the court. He has a low post defense and on-ball defense, so he's really comparable to Anthony Davis. And what better to get someone else like him just to improve on in the future. So Garrett Williams, someone I've watched for a long time. Honestly, he's the second best player probably in this thing at the power forward position. Jarrett Culver, you watched him during the tournament. Another Cam Reddish type player. He's 6'7", so very lengthy, but he probably has more defense, but not as much shooting as Cam Reddish. But he has more of he has a great attacker, honestly, and he's gonna lead. He's more of a leader type, so he wants to be the best on the court every time. So he's going to be that player for the Grizzlies as they fix on what they're doing. They're not bad, but they're really improving. Jontay Porter to the Hawks. I like John Collins, but John Collins is a bit short for his position. I think he's 6'10", 6'11". Maybe get a 6'11" or 7-foot center again. This guy, I seem to have him. I mean, I remember him last year. He was a great player. He has improved, but he's just another great center, honestly. I don't see him coming in starting, to be honest. But if he has the starting talent. So he's like a boom or bust player, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, he's a great player to have on your team, to be honest. Roy Hachimaru, he's a great player who's played for Gonzaga for a bit of a long time. He's a great scorer, great defender. I like his defense, to be honest. He's I wouldn't say he's one of those long guys that I was just talking about. He's not that, because he's more of a small forward, power forward. This guy is one of the. I like him in his fast breaks. He can get out there. He can get the crowd hype. He's someone who is ready to play ball, and Timberwolves are just a team that's just don't look like they're ready. Coby White, North Carolina. Lonzo Ball is just full of trouble. Most likely going to be traded or be gone. So another contributor like Coby White, I don't know. Coby White is a shooter who can play that point guard position. But if it comes to that, they want to get Coby White is still on the board. I see him getting picked up right here. So you see the technical difficulties when you see like the Roy Hachimaru than that. So this pick is actually Coby White. So yeah, you're going to see probably more of those. I'm not sure. But Daniel Gafford to the Hornets. Hornets with Frank Kaminsky. Not very strong down low. Frank Kaminsky not even started, but not very strong down low, to be honest. Daniel Gafford at the beginning of the year was the number one prospect on the board. I forgot what happened to Zion Williamson, but he was the number one prospect off the board because he was not straight out of high school. He's not a freshman, but he is someone who's had the hype. Didn't lose the hype. Had a good season this year. Just other players have gotten top of him. So when you're getting players like these, they tend to really benefit your team. PJ Washington. Last time I went and got in center for the Heat, but the Heat are not needing center right now. Hassan Whiteside is not a great player to have right now, but you need another position. PJ Washington is the most versatile. He can move. He has the post move. He has a bit of good defense. 6'8", power forward. He's just normal. He could compare him to Draymond Green a bit, but not the same type of defense though. But he's a very good has very good versatility, and he's another player who's ready to play ball. He's a freshman from Kentucky who has training, honestly. Sekou Doumbayo, he was the second pick before the season even started, so my second video. I have a lot of hype for this guy from overseas. I really like him in the way he plays. Some people are saying he can play small forward, but I want to keep him down at the power forward so he can really use his quickness against bigger players who play power forward. So that was going to be a great ad for them. the Celtics getting Carsen Edwards. People like Darius Garland, but I prefer Carsen Edwards, honestly. He's ready for any time and moment. If Kyrie leaves, then that's the problem. That's why I'm getting this pick. But if he does not, he comes back. It's still a great addition. I mean, Marcus Smart turning into a shooting guard. I don't see him coming back to the point guard position because of the style that he plays. Carsen Edwards is someone who he's not a selfish player, and I really like that. DeAndre Hunter, people prefer him a top 10 pick. I don't really like DeAndre Hunter. Last year, he didn't get that much hype, and this year somehow he's getting a lot of hype. But they did win championships, though. But DeAndre Hunter is someone that the Magic look to get. Another Jonathan Isaac type who has the defense, but he's very athletic. DeAndre Hunter, very athletic. If he can improve on his shooting, which we've seen from a team who's full of shooters, I think that he can. He's part of that too. Romeo Langford from the Nets. Indiana did not have a great year, and he gets overshadowed because of that. People look at him as he didn't have a good season because of that. But Romeo Langford is adding to another young place where you got Spencer Dinwiddie, D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, all those young guards, small forwards, on the team. And Romeo Langford is a freshman who a lot of people were looking to have turn Indiana around. Fortunately, that didn't happen, but I still think he had a great season. Admiral Schofield, he is a great player. He's a very good facilitator. I might be over-exaggerating when I say this, but it's like a Ja Morant and Zion Williamson mixed together, He's a shooting guard. I've seen him as a small forward more, but he's a shooting guard who can facilitate the ball to every single player on the court. He's a good playmaker, good scorer, too. And he's very competitive with Zion Williamson, except he can play that guard position. So, Bruno, Fernando, Paul Gasol is... I think it might be his last year. He's coming to an end, obviously. And you got LaMarcus Aldridge, who is also like 36 to 38, so he's pretty old too. Bruno Fernando is obviously young, but he has that experience for playing with Maryland for a long time. He has that big body experience. Great defender, great rebounder. Seems like I'm saying the same thing for every center, but that's how it is. If you're going to be one of the best in the draft, you have to be good at all of the things. 20th, Darius Garland to the Celtics. Darius Garland, I think they go get 2 point guards because if Kyrie leaves, you don't really have that backup type with Terry Rozier. But this is just like an empty pick, honestly. One of them are honestly going to be traded. That's true. Nassir Little to the Thunder. Nassir Little is one of the best defenders. Well, not best defender, but he's the most athletic and offensive player and defensive player. So he's the type who can play, who's athletic on both sides of the ball. Not necessarily a scorer, but he can be athletic for both sides of the ball, and that's really important for teams. I think he goes higher than DeAndre Hunter, but he had a really hype as he came out of high school. We got Luka Samanic, power forward overseas. Don't know how to spell his name, but that's not really important. Get it overseas because I don't really like Al Horford right now. He has his good games, but Al Horford is pretty short. He's just been nowadays just sitting at the 3-point line, being really lazy, not a rebounder, nothing. He's just that type of player, is not playing at his full potential, and that's not his fault. He's getting really old, so yeah. Jazz getting Keldon Johnson. You got the quick guys with Ricky Rubio. You got Donovan Mitchell, the small guys. You go get a lengthy small forward shooting guard type player. Keldon Johnson, who I really like from Oak Hill. I loved his highlights, but I also liked him at Kentucky, even though he didn't have the same amount of impact at Kentucky. But he's going to make a real impact for this team, as they already have Derek Favors, Rudy Gobert. You can just plug him. He also had the chance to be a starter, but not over Joe Ingles. You got Darius Bazley. He didn't go to college. I still like Darius Bazley. Not many people like him because he didn't go to college, but I feel like he's been working really hard to get that spot. He's an actual power forward, besides instead of getting Ben Simmons to play that power forward spot or whatever rotation they got. So, yeah. Naz Reid, I got him because I thought that, when Nurkic's injury, he's not really coming back. But I have watched some basketball, and his Cantor is playing really nicely. But also, just get a young guy. He can play the power forward position also, as he's only 6'10". He's a big body. He's the type to, reminds me of someone on their team already, but I can't remember who it is. He can play like that power forward. He's that strong type of. He's what a power forward is, basically. Dedrick Lawson. I liked him from Memphis. I thought he was going to Kansas and play even better, but that obviously didn't happen. So his next step is just the NBA and try to prove upon what happened. Nikhil Walker, adding more shooting guard, small forward depth. This guy is actually might go higher, but I like him, honestly. Play that shooting guard, small forward spot. He's a guard player who has the size of a small forward. Louis King, probably the best defender. That's one of the best defenders from Oregon. He really led that team, honestly. He did a great job this season. But the Warriors with KD leaving, I wouldn't say he's a replacement, but you got to replace the bench if that's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know what's going to go on from there. The Warriors are probably going to trade up if they find out before that one of their players are leaving. So, by June. We got Shamarin Pons from St. John's. Patty Mills is getting really old, and I can see a lot of comparable to Patty Mills. I really like this guy. He comes from a small school, but has that leader mentality that Greg Popovich really sponsors and loves with young players. So you've seen Jontay Murray really rise. So yeah, we got the Bucks getting Mfiondu Kabali. He's looked at as small forward, but I like him as a center, to be honest. He's 6'10". He got replaced as a starter this year by another player. This guy can play small forward, power forward, center. He got replaced by a 7'4" player, and I wouldn't blame him. But he had a lot of energy and motive off the bench. He's not going to come in and start, so that's what I like about him.